Okay guys, so alright, I'm gonna do the whole actuator bleeding procedure, the lining up with the actuator arm, and then the relearn. I've been having problems with the system with it keep failing self-learn multiple times. Sometimes gears 1 to 6 will work and reverse will work, and sometimes reverse will work, but reverse actually goes into second gear. I've just been getting a whole bunch of weird problems with gear changing and actuator relearning. I spoke to a few guys, knowledgeable guys on the Ferrari system, and most likely have air that's trapped somewhere in the system, because the first time I bled it I probably did it incorrectly. So last night what I did was unscrew all the bolts on the bottom there, unscrew them, let everything drain out right into that pan there, let it drain overnight, everything should be out the system. I just retightened the bolts to 17 pounds of torque. Just retightened them, and I just added fluid into the reservoir. I turned the car on and it's sitting nice in neutral. So what I'm going to do is open up these screws here and initiate the bleed procedure from my phone. I'm using a Easy Diag tool, I believe that's what it's called. I'll take a look at that afterwards. So I'm going to open the screws up now, and I'm going to start the bleeding procedure from the phone, and hopefully everything goes smooth. Okay, so the system I am using is the Easy Diag. It's the Ferrari system. I'm going to check here, full system check. And give me the option for Ferrari. Read this. It's going to give me like a little disclaimer or whatever, but that's okay. The system still works. There it goes, failed to read, blah blah blah. Alright, now let me scroll down to Enzo, because that's what I have here. No, I'm joking. Let me take my ass to Ferrari 360 Modena. Click on that. F313. F1313, whatever it says. Gasoline. I'm going to go to System Selection. Gearbox. First version, System 201. Any other version, second version, and Morelli semi-automatic gearbox system. Some reason I'm only allowed to read data, but it doesn't allow me to do any kind of gearbox actions. Only System 201 first version. I guess that's because of my TCU. I have the 197533 TCU. So I'm select this first version, initializing the interface. Wait. There we go. See, I can get the model information, read fault codes. Let me see if I have any fault codes. Nope, no fault codes in the DTC report. If it did, come on, go back. There we go. If it did, you just press clear fault codes, and then it says, yep, you want to clear codes. There's no codes, but this is what it would do. Then I'll say fault codes completed. Then whatever error light is on the dashboard would get erased. This is the read data stream, and let me see, you get so much options here, just so much options. And it's live data, of course. But yeah, 96 options actually. I know with the 430 system you actually get more, but yeah, I like to look at, let me see, where is it? Hydraulic circuit pressure. Let me see what that is. You click that, then you press OK. And it should give me a, alright, cool, it's at 45.10. That's the bar right there, pressure. So yeah, it's dancing around that. You see? Let me click back. Alright, let me get to where we're trying to go to. The actuator test. This is where you could clutch wheel self-learning. That's a relearn. Then you can engage from first gear to sixth gear, reverse, neutral, and actuator centering. That's all under the actuator test. And now the special function is where I go to, and you can do the clutch configuration, set the PIS, clutch bleeding actuator, and engagement selection bleeding. That's the one we're going to be using for bleeding actuator. Let me see what the PIS has. Okay, I know usually you go here, reading configuration. It gives you a number. Alright, so that's where it's reading at. My PIS is at 4.97. It kind of changes Alright, so let me first unloosen these screws and start the process. Trying to do this with one hand. I should have my tripod up, but I don't. Alright, I know it's 2 turns. This would be 1, 2. 1, 2. There we go for the final one. What the heck? You see that? I don't think that's supposed to happen. Yeah, I think there's a lot of air locked in the system, you see? I don't think that's supposed to happen at all. Yeah. So you guys can see firsthand. That's the issues I've been having, but look at all the foaming up. I'm gonna try running it and see what happens. Executing command. I was doing the bleeding procedure. I saw little bubbles coming out from there. More bubbles. Oh, that was a big bubble. Oh, more bubbles. That should be it. What I'm actually going to do is hit engagement one more time to do another system bleed right away. Yep, still see little bubbles coming up there. Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to happen. That once I'm unscrewing the bleed screw, the system starts priming right away. I thought everything was drained out, but I guess not. Alright, seems completed. So I'll press OK. I'll go to the bottom here. And I'll start to screw it back. And now the system is priming. Make sure you keep an eye on this. Alright, I'm sorry, I just had to jump off the camera right there. The system was getting very low and I didn't want it to go below the fill mark, to go below the minimum mark, so I had to pause the camera and just make sure I add more hydraulic fluid in there. So far it seems like this is the system is bled, but I'll see. Now I got to do the actuator recentering, and then after that try to relearn, and hopefully that passes. So let me get back to down there and get working with it. Okay, so I turned off the car for about 5 minutes after the bleed procedure, and now I'm going to attempt the actuator centering. Go back into the Ferrari system, bypass this little error notification. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Takes a while, but it still does the job. There we go. Alright, blah blah blah. Loading back to Modena 131 gasoline. System select. Gearbox first version. Alright, which one is that? Actuator test. Scroll down. Nope. Actuator centering. Press right now. Oh, there it goes. Erase the memory error before the start of the activation. Well, I have no errors in the system, so I'm just going to press OK. What's going to happen? Oh, okay. So it's already in the center. Now, the only issue with that is I have to unscrew this bolt. And I don't know how to get to it, so I'm thinking I'm going to put it in neutral. And then loosen the bolt, do the actuator centering again, turn off the vehicle, and then go from there. If that makes sense, if I could do that. Alright, I'll be right back. Let me figure something out. Alright, so I was actually able to do it. So I was able to loosen the bolt without putting the vehicle in neutral, so I don't want to mess up that process. I turned off the vehicle because that's what it says to do. So what I did was, first I bleed the system, I turn off the car, I turn back on the car, basically cycle the power on and off. I initiated actuator recentering. Let me try to get the light here. As you can see, it's nighttime right now. The actuator arm was up here, so I loosened the bolt with a 13mm. And I'm lining the bolt up with this jig. As you can see here, I'm supposed to have I believe a 30mm shim to put right here, very thin shim, just to line this up. But since I'm just doing this for trials, I'm just gonna leave it as is. So I'm just lining this up, as you can see here. Line up the actuator arm. Hold on, let me see. Line up the actuator arm with this block. This is a Hill Engineering actuator centering block. I'll line it up, and I'm going to retighten that bolt. After I'm retighten that, I'm going to attach the actuator back onto the gearbox, turn on the car, and initiate self-learn. Hopefully everything goes proper, and I can change gears again. So let me tighten this up, get it back onto the gearbox, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Alright, so I have the actuator back on the car. Something's weird. When you're doing this, make sure the car's in neutral, because mine was actually in first gear. So I just took, I gently, which is very easy, just slid it right back to the middle to put it in first gear. As soon as I turn the car on, I have end flashing and the hydraulic light is on. And I believe that's because it was starting in the wrong gear or whatever. So right now I'm going to see if I could just erase the code off the gearbox and initiate gear learn. Hopefully it's nothing too serious where I have to try and do this whole thing over. But let me see if I go to read code. That's the crap I'm getting. Let me see. Back. There, full close. Are you sure? Yes. Full close. And yet it is still flashing. What I'm gonna do is turn the car off, turn it back on, and see if that does it. Let me see, refull codes again. Yep, it's still there. So, oh yeah. I'm gonna turn the car off, then restart it and see if that does it. If anything, I will. Yeah, it's still there. I hear it. Yeah, let me turn the car off and try and redo this again. Okay, so what I actually did was I just did actuator recentering again, since I just centered it with the block. I did it again and it came to neutral. Everything looked good. The code automatically came off. So I turned off the car, turned it back on, and now I'm going to try and initiate the self-learn process, and hopefully that works. I guess because the gearbox was at gear 1 and I just flicked it over to neutral without using the actuator, the car read like it was still in gear 1 or mid-read codes, and that's why the pitometers, or whatever you call them things, had an error code because it wasn't reading the proper gear. But everything looks good now, so actuator test. Okay, I'm gonna initiate self-learn. This is gonna be like my fourth time trying, actually more than 4 times. It usually fails in gear 1 and sometimes it fails in gear 6, so I'm nervous right now, but I'm gonna try the self-learning. Click that. Everything should be erased, but because there's no codes on the dashboard. But let me see. Okay, here we go. Please work. Oh, there we go again. Failed once again. Oh, excuse me. This is becoming difficult. Let me see if it showed me any codes. Why is those absent and they're right here? Read data stream. Let me go down to where is it? No, not that. Gellerbach self-learning system failure. And see what it says. Reverse engagement error. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do at this point. I guess I'm gonna just reverse my steps and go from bleeding it again to recentering it and then self-learn. That's my issue right there.